Hi, I'm Dan Friend, and I'm here to talk to you about genetic engineering through the past, the present, and the future. And genetic engineering is basically the altering of genes. So if you have brown hair, you can get blonde hair. If you have brown eyes, you can get blue or green. Or basically just make yourself the best image of what you'd want to look like. And genetic engineering doesn't just affect, or isn't just for humans. It's for plants, it's for animals, it's for anything that has DNA and genes, such as diseases as well. And genetic engineering can change all of those to possibly get rid of some diseases, to make us just smarter, stronger, just better overall. And genetic engineering technically wouldn't have started without James Watson and Francis Crick when they discovered the double helix structure to DNA in 1953. And when they discovered that, there has always been an idea of upgrading ourselves, upgrading our DNA, and all of this is made possible through genetic engineering. And even when we didn't have that, we still did it with certain animals and plants through crossbreeding animals to get the biggest animals to help us with basically anything that we would need, such as food, such as travel, anything like that. And we would crossbreed them. We would crossbreed animals and plants to help resist diseases, to stay alive longer, to help us basically until as long as we needed them. And doing this is called selective genetic engineering, by selecting the best specimens for the plants or for animals. And this was even done for humans when we had slaves back before the Civil War. We would select the best specimens to make the best workers, so it would be more effective, more efficient. And this has also been done through military research for what we now call super soldiers. And this was more popular and more known of when Hitler had his Aryan race for blonde hair, blue eyes, over 6 feet tall, were basically better beings or better specimens to make the super soldiers for him. And this was done through military research. And with military research is also medical research. And medical research could help get rid of genetic diseases or disorders such as like Down syndrome, help prevent that from happening before birth through genetic engineering. Theoretically, of course, we haven't been able to actually do this yet, but in theory for genetic engineering, we could be able to do this, so people wouldn't have to live with Down syndrome or with disorders and not be able to live as they can if they were if they were normal. And with military research, through military research, it's possible to make or to create like super soldiers. Like for science fiction, there's a video game called Halo, and the Master Chief in that game is a genetically engineered super soldier who, along with all these other, they call them Spartans in the game, and they made them stronger, faster, able to think quickly on their feet, be smarter, analyze situations on the fly, so they're more effective and they're more tactical. So they would have the best army opposed to someone else who didn't have this technology to be able to do this themselves. And with genetic engineering, with those kind of capabilities, for me, it would have to be taken care of, and with not such a power crazed person in control of all this power, because this is a lot of power for just one person to have, especially if they take advantage of it. And I couldn't even foresee the outcome of what could happen with that. But genetic engineering, if it ever does get that far, would it just be used for military purposes? Would it be used for just medical research for the people who need the treatment for their medical diseases or problems? Or could it be open to everybody to make them so parents can choose what their kids would look like? And if you've seen the movie Gattaca, if it would be similar to that. Now, with genetic engineering, there's obviously a lot of positives that I've told you, like it could possibly get rid of diseases, it could make you stronger, better, smarter, it can make you look like the perfect human being. But there's also a lot of negatives, and there definitely are a lot of negatives now. Like, since it's relatively new for research, we don't know the long-term effect for genetic engineering. If you were to change your genes, would you still live as long as you would if you didn't mess with anything that's your body or that makes you? And even though it might get rid of some diseases, it might also create some more, because diseases, viruses, all of these things fight back. And if we were able to basically get rid of them, would that create a stronger strain of that disease or virus that would fight back and maybe eventually wipe us out? And with all these negatives, there's so many questions that we're not able to answer with a valid. We can theorize all we want, but we won't know until we research this further. If we get, after we figure out the long-term effects for this, at least on humans. And with genetic engineering, people can be prejudiced towards people who are genetically engineered, or vice versa. People who are genetically engineered or being prejudiced against people who are quote-unquote normal. And David King, I think, said this best. The main debate around human genetics currently centers on the ethics of genetic testing and possibilities for genetic discrimination and selective eugenics. And this is a valid statement and argument to point out, because people are prejudiced against things that they don't understand, and there could easily be a division between genetically engineered people and normal people, and we don't know if this might invoke a war or this might change everything that we know about our society today. And all this technology right now is almost too much. It's almost too much to even fathom what could possibly happen in the future. And we've already seen it where races have been discriminated against, and some people might think, why add another possibility of this happening when there's so much bad, there's so much war, just based on these ideas. And in conclusion, I I think that genetic engineering could do more good than it could bad with the medical research and trying to be able to get rid of some of these diseases and disorders. I feel like genetic engineering is more of a plus if it's just used for those purposes. But if it's used for more than that, I I think that it could completely change society, or it could completely ruin us, or we would have lost something as humans through genetic engineering. So I believe that if it's just used for medical reasons, then I believe that we would be on the right track to just keep it limited to that one thing. That's it. Thank you.